Hi, I'm in the process of building out OrdinaryAnimator.com, a tool to make it easier for ordinary people to create animations. And one of the things I've done is made a little tool available so you can have a bit of a play. And what it does is you can record your own voice and do something like a voiceover and then put a animated character on one of your videos if you don't want to put your own face there. So what I'm going to do is run through the tool and show you how to use it. So first step is go to ordinaryanimator.com/try. You then turn on the camera up in the top left-hand corner. Once the button down in the bottom left-hand corner is turned into record, then your face should be able to control the character and you can make expressions and talk, and it records your audio. You've got a choice of 2 avatars to pick between that I've provided by default. If you want to, you can click up in the top right corner to make sure the camera's okay. And if you're reading from a script on the screen, it can be useful to recenter it. If it's picking up the wrong camera, turn the camera off and you can go to settings up in the top right corner and then make sure it's all correct. When you're ready to start recording, click the record button, say whatever you want, move around, and then hit the stop button. You can preview it by hitting the play button and it will play it back. Once you've finished that, you can go over to the USD tab, select an output directory, pick an empty folder, and give it permission to write files to your machine. And then when you click the export button, it'll download a whole lot of OpenUSD files to your machine. I've sped it up here in the video. It can take a little while to complete. It may output an audio.webm file. I use a program called FFmpeg to convert to MP3. Once you've done that, you can go over to Omniverse from NVIDIA. If you open the stage.usda file, you can play back the recording. If you're happy with it, and then there's a stop button to stop it from playback. I often use the lighting from Grey Studio. It just got some better default lights for the scene. When you open it up, it may actually come up black before that, or just dark. Once you're happy with it and position the camera appropriately, if you go to Window Animation Timeline, it brings up a little scrubbing bar down the bottom, and you can sort of preview to make sure everything's looking good. Then if you go up to viewport settings, you can set the width and height to the actual recording width and height that you want. I often go for HD by default. Then if you go Window Rendering Movie Capture, you can start picking. And there's quite a lot of settings here. Usually the defaults are pretty good. I check the output resolution. I go down and I usually capture a PNG sequence. There's a settings knob next to it. And what that does is you can actually turn on alpha. Alpha is transparency. This allows you to superimpose your character over the top of an existing video. Then click Capture Sequence. For every single frame, it'll save a new PNG file. The default rendering is pretty good, but not perfect. If you go to path tracing, it does a better quality. And you want to make sure there's a number of settings, and things like the number of samples per pixel is very important. The higher the value, it takes too long sometimes if it gets too high. Now, if you got motion blur on, that also multiplies it out. So I've got a value here. I think it was around 32. Sometimes 12 works quite well. So it's doing multiple samples per pixel. You tell it to record. It'll take a while to complete, but it goes much faster than default. So I think the default's like 512, which just takes forever. You just don't need it for my quality of video. Once you've exported the PNG sequence, I'm just using Adobe Premiere Pro myself. If you go over and use File Import, you can navigate to the directory where the PNG file sequence is. Click on the first one, click the little checkbox to say Image Sequence, and that will load up all those image files, just like a video clip. It's a bit slower, but it lets you get it in. Then right-click and modify and change Interpret Footage. What this allows you to do is to change the frames per second. When I started up, it defaults to 29, and I've got to change it down to 24 because I'm generating 24 frames per second. Otherwise, it won't line up with the audio file. So then you can drag that over in, and because it's on a transparency, you can still see your video behind it, which is great for a voiceover. You can then also grab the audio.mp3 file. I find that Premiere Pro doesn't like the WebM files very much. It crashes a bit too often, so that's why I'm using MP3 files. So you drag that in, line it up. They should be both the same length, and then you can scrub through, and the character will be talking, and the audio file will play back in sync with the character. And so there you have it. not too hard to get up and going to create your own voiceover with an avatar, just to make it a little bit more interesting for one of your videos. If you're using Void Studio, what I'm hoping to do or planning to do is to allow you to create your own characters, load them up. There's a whole suite of characters available. Also looking to support other character models like Ready Player Me and Real Illusion Character Creator and MetaHumans and so forth. But that's in the future. I hope you found this useful. Let me know how you go. If you've got any problems, if you go on the bottom of that page with a /try on the URL, there's a link to the Discord. I've just set it up so there's nobody else there yet, but you can be the first. And I'm happy to answer any questions and help you get up and going. But I'd love to hear any feedback. Thank you for watching. Hope this is useful for you. Bye.